put out this video as a bit of a sequel to the last video that I did, and if you haven't seen that already, make sure you go and check that out. It's a very, very educational video, very long, but very educational. We had a tremendous positive response to that. I got lots and lots of emails. I was posting up people's captions and emails and messages that they were sending me, and really feel that we saved a lot of traders from blowing accounts, and not only blowing accounts, but we got some messages saying, you know, I really do know now that I don't know as much as I thought I knew, or I'm in that conscious incompetence stage where I know there's stuff that I don't know. So I got messages saying that they've closed their account, they're going to focus on it as a business before they risk another penny or dime, and anything they do have, they're going to plow into their education first, which is obviously the most important thing. And it's really a sequel to that video because I got a lot of messages about how do you get time to backtest, or how do you get time to start, and more importantly, is it possible to do this whilst I've got a full-time job? So I want to talk through my story as well, and what it takes to develop some small habits in order to create, you know, success in trading just by doing small things that don't really make a major difference to your life, and how that output decreases as the habits increase, and the effort then becomes minimal, and you get to where you want to be. Because I want to share with you something which is quite cool and relevant from an engineering background, how it's something called a PID loop. And PID stands for proportional, integral, and derivative loop, and it's essentially how things are controlled, things like temperature, pressure. I'm going to give you an example on how it's relevant in life, and when you hear people talk about gains and what that actually means, and then how we can use it into everyday life, and how it's going to help you get through this process, because it's going to require some kind of effort. I ran a business full-time. I had a full-time job when I was learning to trade, and I come out the other end of it. So I'm just going to go through this quickly with you, and then I'll be back in just a minute. Right, so I'm going to talk about something called a PI loop, which is relevant in engineering, whether it's temperature control, pressure control, but it's also used in everyday life, such as weight loss, if you're driving your car, and everything that requires an output to get to somewhere, this is relevant to, okay? So when we talk about PI loop, and I'm not going to talk about the D because that's irrelevant really at the moment, but P is proportional gain, and we're going to just call that gain, okay? And this is the gain is what you hear people talk about, nice gains, you know, when they see a result as a result of some output that someone's put in, and they say nice gain. This is really what people see, okay? And I'm going to explain exactly what that actually is, and the integral action is going to be the most important bit to decrease your output, your effort, but keep the same result and grow and grow and grow, okay? So when we talk about a loop, what we've got is a snapshot of some kind of reference point. So whether that's your weight, your current weight, the temperature of a room, or maybe it's the speed that you're traveling at in a car, that essentially goes into the loop. And then there's a calculation in here on the P and the I, which gives the output, okay? So this would be the output, the end result. And I'm going to explain how this all works and how it's relevant to everyday life and how you can implement it into your life. So if you imagine we're traveling down a road and the speed limit is 30 miles an hour, okay? But we're actually traveling 28, okay? So let's just draw this graph, and we know that 30 is the limit. That's where we want it. We want to drive at 30 miles an hour. That's where we want to get to. You may have heard of something called a set point when it comes to temperature. That's the set point, okay? Whether it's weight loss, if you want to be 10 stone, that's the set point. 30 miles an hour, that's the set point. 21 degrees, that's the set point, okay? And we're going to talk about traveling in a car for the first example. So 30 miles an hour is the set point. We're currently traveling at 28. Now, what the loop does, what the control loop does, is it multiplies the gain by the error. Now the error is the difference between the snapshot of where you are now and the set point. So in this case, we've got 2, okay, 2 miles per hour. So if the gain is the output percentage. So if we put our foot on the accelerator by 10%, so the gain is 10, that's going to be 10 times 2, which is going to give us an output of 20. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to have a 20% output. We're going to put our foot on the accelerator by an extra 20%, and we're going to start to build up speed. Okay, but as we get to 29, what happens then? Well, this decreases to 1 times 10, and we've then got a 10% output, so our output decreases, and as we get up to 30, we've got no gain. There's no output required. We're at the set point. So what we do is we back off, and then the same thing applies. But the problem with this is we never actually maintain. We never actually get there and stay at the set point. So what do we need to do? We need to bring in something called an integral action. The integral action, all that is how often you put your foot down on the accelerator, how often you apply the gain. Okay, so for instance, if you was to say, every 5 seconds, I'm going to put 10% on the accelerator, you're obviously going to get a lot quicker, right? You're going to get there a lot quicker, but what you're going to do is you're going to overshoot. But then what this allows you to do is to undershoot, overshoot, and what eventually happens is the gain becomes 0, the effort becomes 0, and the integral action, the habit of keep putting your foot down the accelerator keeps you where you want to be. And you no longer require any more effort. You just have the habits of keeping you there. So although you're moving your foot every 5 seconds, it's very, very minimal to keep you on the set point. Now it's the same in weight loss. If we was in weight loss, okay, and we wanted to be 10 stone, and we're 11, 12, 13, 14, this is going to be a negative gain because we're trying to lose weight. But say we're 12 stone and we want to be 10 stone. So 10 stone is the set point. We're 12 stone. We've got an error of 2. Say we go to the gym every day. Okay, we're going to go to the gym. We're going to put in an hour in the gym every day, and say that's 10% of our day. We're going to have the 10% again. 2 times 10, we're going to have a 20% output. But as we get closer to our goal, you start to get comfortable with your body. You're less and less motivated to go to the gym. You might say, "Oh, do you know what? I'm going to treat myself this weekend and go out and have that burger," or I'm just going to spend half hour in the gym today, because you become satisfied, more and more satisfied with where you are. So you start to ease off the accelerator, and then you think, "Oh, I've put a bit back on again. I better get back in the gym." And then you get closer to where you are, where you're happy, your standards, and then you back off again, and you never actually get there. This is where the integral action comes in. You build habits. How often do you implement those habits and keep them manageable, these habits, so that you can then action the habits, overshoot. You might lose a bit more weight than you need to in the first instance, but what you're going to do is, as you keep that habit up, you're going to maintain where you want to be. Just keep the habit going, keep strong, don't deviate, keep the habit there, and then you'll no longer require as much effort if you've got these small habits, and you eventually just get there and you maintain. So this whole thing is relevant in all areas of life. If you want to start trading, okay, you're going to have to get outside your comfort zone. You might be here, you want to be here, you're going to have to put in a bit of effort, a bit more effort in the first instance. But if you build in habits and you do this every day, you're going to build your own integral action, which means you're going to get the results, and you're going to maintain the results rather than keep backing off every time you hit a hurdle. Okay, so quite cool stuff. It's a bit technical, but I thought it's really relevant. It's helped me in my own understand different areas of how things work in my own life, how I've had to build habits to get to places that I want to be, and I thought I'd share it with you because it's quite cool. All right, so it's pretty cool. It's very relevant. It can be used in everyday life, not just trading, but everyday life, and you can see how that can have an effect just by creating those little habits that you can chip away at every single day. That's the most important thing. Then the effort becomes minimal whilst you're still maintaining results. And you know, it's important that you understand that the end result is inevitable. If you just stick to the little habits, the end result will just come. That is inevitable. My own personal story, I used to come home from work, I'd get home around 5:30, 5 o'clock, spend some time with the kids, have dinner, then I'd see my wife, and around 9:30 or 10 o'clock, if she went to bed, then I would start my second work day, and that would be educating myself, whether it was learning how to trade or back testing. I would have 4 hours, 4.5 hours from 10 o'clock to about 2 o'clock in the morning just doing that, and I was really outside my comfort zone. You know, that was maximum effort. That was my maximum proportional gain, you know, full output. And obviously as I put in the reps and I got closer and closer to where I wanted to be, that effort decreased, and my habits were still there, but I didn't need to put in as much effort to get where I want to be. Now, I'm not saying that it wasn't hard, and really that's when you're going to find out how badly you want it. You're going to actually have to want this. You can't just go into it because you want money. You want lots and lots of money, because money doesn't really mean anything. It's just it's what you want the money for that's going to keep you going. How badly do you want it? If you don't really want to lose weight, going back to the PID loop, as soon as you get to that threshold where you're sort of happy, you'll back off. You'll naturally ease off the accelerator, and that's really going to depend how badly you want it as to how much you continue and how far you push beyond that comfort zone in the first stage. So too many people do just get into it for riches, you know, and trading is just an investment vehicle, just like any other vehicle. It's called vehicle because it's like a car. A car gets you from A to B. Any vehicle, it gets you from where you are now to a place that you want to be. Now, if you think about your first car, was it good? You know, was it the best car you could have had? I know mine wasn't. Mine was a 1990 Vauxhall Nova. I thought it was brilliant, but I knew I couldn't have an amazing car because, one, the insurance, because it was risky. I was a risky driver because I was brand new, right? So I just jumped in the vehicle. I was brand new to it. I had a high insurance, very, very risky. But I knew one day if I just kept driving and kept driving and kept driving, the output, the output required would minimize, and I'd no longer think about driving anymore. It becomes second nature. My insurance would come down, I'd become less risky, and I could have a better vehicle and a better vehicle and a better vehicle. All right, so you know, I knew that I'd have a nice car one day, but I wasn't concentrating on that then. I just wanted to put in the reps and become more familiar with my surroundings and less of a risk. So that's really it for the blog. I just wanted to reinforce that, you know, you can do it. You have to get outside your comfort zone a bit. I wanted to explain a bit about my my PID loop and how I think that applies to it all everyday life, and how you can apply it to build your own habits. And remember, you can be wildly successful. You know, you can be wildly successful, but just slow down and concentrate on the habits. You know, the 3 E's, any investor will tell you the 3 E's stand for education, experience, and excess cash. So how that's relative to trading is you learn first, you educate yourself first, you get out your comfort zone and put in the hours to learn, and then you'll back test the strategy. You know, you're low risk. You're a low risk trader, but and you know, you're not getting the returns that you want, but don't worry, because if you can then backtest the strategy and prove to yourself that you can generate 30%, 20-30% on a $1,000 account, well then you can later on return 20 to 30% on £1 million account, $1 million account, right? So just concentrate on the small things, and then obviously excess cash is never trade money that you can't afford to lose. So, you know, don't go all in and blow your money if you're reliant upon that money to provide you with, you know, your living expenses, your house. You know, you want to learn first. So 3 E's: education, experience, which is the back testing and putting your reps in the market, excess cash. Never risk money that you can't afford to lose until you've proved to yourself that you have a positive expectancy, and that comes way down the line. So that's it for the blog, guys. Just a quick one, really. Bit of a longer blog, I suppose, but if you are interested in learning how to trade properly, don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. For a start, there's about 400 videos on this channel. Also, my personal channel has got about 70 or 80 videos on there as well. A bit more entrepreneurship, business, money, lifestyle stuff on there, as well as trading. And if you really are serious, you know, we do a great job of teaching people how to trade, you know, taking them from where you are now at that snapshot to where you want to be. And if you do take the leap, you won't be disappointed. I look forward to working with you very soon. And if you want to just get your feet wet, don't remember you can check out one of the live rooms. I host the London live room every day, Tuesday to Friday. Akil hosts the live room Tuesday to Friday New York session. I've got the London session. And if you really, really want to just dip your feet in, then you can always use the syndicate program, which is $1 for a month, or try out the basics course as well. So lots and lots for you to choose from without having to part with your hard-earned cash in case you're not quite, you know, if it's not really quite for you. Check those products out. All the links are below. And until next time, take care, and I'll see you then.